Governor DeSantis is now weighing in on the 8 new proposals House lawmakers rolled out to reduce or even eliminate property taxes.
72% of Florida voters want some type of property tax reform.
Florida's real estate market is changing faster than anyone expected. For years, it was a symbol of endless growth, a place where property values climbed month after month, and bidding wars felt like a sport. But now the tide is shifting. After a decade of relentless momentum, Florida's housing market is entering a new phase. It's calmer, more measured, and surprisingly, full of new opportunity. By mid-2026, analysts project that nearly 24 Florida markets could see prices ease down. That doesn't mean collapse or crisis. It means the state's overheated boom is finally catching its breath. And for long-term investors, this cooling period might be the most strategic entry point in years. Across the Sunshine State, prices are moderating, but demand isn't disappearing. Florida's appeal, the sunshine, the beaches, the tax advantages, the lifestyle, still pulls people in every single day. So while some areas are leveling off, others are quietly preparing for their next surge. The real question is which ones? According to Florida Realtors data, the overall picture is one of balance returning to the market. In June 2025, the state recorded its first year-over-year increase in single-family home sales since the start of the year, a small but meaningful rebound. At the same time, median home prices have dipped a few percentage points, suggesting that buyers finally have breathing room. The median single-family home now hovers around $412,000, while condos average about $300,000. For the first time in years, buyers can pause, compare, and negotiate. Florida Realtors chief economist Brad O'Connor calls it a transition toward balance. Sellers who adapt are succeeding. Those who don't are learning that 2022's pricing frenzy is over. But the shift isn't the same everywhere. In some cities, prices are softening gently. In others, especially along the coasts, new investment and migration are already setting the stage for the next run. Nowhere is this clearer than in South Florida. At first glance, it looks like the region is slowing. Mortgage rates are higher, inventory is climbing, and total sales have dipped. But that's only part of the story. Beneath the surface, the market is reorganizing, and in some segments, exploding. Take Miami. In the ultra-luxury category, sales of $10 million homes are on track to nearly match the record-setting pandemic years. International buyers, tech executives, and high-net-worth families continue to pour in, drawn by Florida's tax advantages, its global brand, and its unique value proposition. $1 million in Miami still buys more space, better amenities, and more waterfront access than the same budget in New York, Los Angeles, or London. And while the top end thrives, the entry level remains steady. The typical condo in Miami-Dade County still lists around $294,000, barely below last year's average. A new wave of state-level condo regulations that began in 2025 requires buildings to maintain reserves for maintenance and safety, restoring buyer confidence and encouraging lenders to finance older properties. That one change has already breathed life into the mid-tier condo market. Across Broward and Palm Beach counties, a similar balance is taking shape. Luxury properties continue to set records, while affordable homes attract first-time buyers who were priced out during the pandemic. Mortgage rates remain a challenge, but an increasing number of deals close in cash. In July 2025, more than a third of South Florida transactions were all-cash purchases, far above the national average, driven by international investors and equity-rich buyers from other U.S. states. So yes, the market is adjusting, but in South Florida, that adjustment looks less like retreat and more like reorganization. The region's fundamentals, climate, global demand, cultural appeal, are too strong to fade. Still, the best opportunities aren't only in the big metros. All across the coast, smaller towns are quietly reinventing themselves, building infrastructure and attracting new waves of residents and investors. Hollywood, Florida is one of them. Once seen as a sleepy neighbor wedged between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood is now in transformation mode. The city is investing heavily in parks, marinas, and beachfront upgrades. Developers are drawn by its lower land costs, while buyers appreciate its walkable neighborhoods and easy access to 2 major airports. Real estate professionals call Hollywood the affordable coastal alternative that won't stay under the radar much longer. Up the coast sits New Smyrna Beach, a community with a creative, small-town personality that's increasingly appealing to investors. Located near Orlando but far enough from the tourist crowds, New Smyrna offers strong short-term rental potential and a tight-knit local culture. Its mix of art galleries, surf shops, and boutique restaurants makes it both livable and profitable. Farther south, Pompano Beach is undergoing a downtown renaissance. Once overshadowed by Fort Lauderdale, it's now in the midst of a multi-billion-dollar redevelopment effort. New hotels, restaurants, and a waterfront district that's drawing attention from young professionals and retirees alike. With condo prices still far below those in neighboring cities, Pompano stands out as a realistic entry point for coastal investors. On the Gulf side, Port St. Joe has become one of the state's most talked-about hidden gems. It delivers what locals call Old Florida: slow pace, small crowds, and affordability. Yet it's seeing increased demand from out-of-state buyers who want beachfront living without Naples-level prices. Inventory is tightening quickly, and agents predict appreciation over the next few years. And then there's Florida's Space Coast. Stretching from Melbourne to Satellite Beach, this region has turned into a magnet for remote workers. The combination of beach access, tech industry jobs, and more affordable housing than South Florida has made it one of the state's fastest-rising areas. Former professional surfer turned realtor C.J. Hobgood describes it best. The Space Coast still feels like Florida used to: quiet, affordable, and full of potential. Together, these towns tell an important story. Not every Florida investment has to start with a skyline view. Many of the best long-term gains may come from areas still building their reputation. But while some cities are heating up, others are cooling down. Data from Zillow projects that by mid-2026, 24 Florida markets will see mild price declines. The list includes Punta Gorda, Northport, Cape Coral, Crestview, The Villages, Tallahassee, and several others. These are places that surged during the pandemic. Remote work, migration, and limited inventory drove prices up at record speed. Now, with mortgage rates higher and more listings on the market, those gains are settling. Punta Gorda could see around a 4% price dip. Northport and Cape Coral may slide 3%. Even the big metro hubs like Tampa and Orlando could ease off by 1 or 2%. But experts stress that this is not a crisis, it's normalization. These markets are returning to long-term growth patterns after years of exceptional spikes. A gentle descent, not a free fall. In real estate cycles, such cooling phases often reset affordability, allowing the next wave of buyers to step in, and that's where smart investors find opportunity. So how should investors play this moment? The key is timing and temperament. When prices flatten or fall slightly, the market favors patience. Buyers finally have choices. There's room to negotiate, inspect, and plan. Those who can finance or pay cash hold the advantage. For sellers, realism matters. Overpricing a property in a cooling market guarantees stagnation. The sellers who win now are the ones who price competitively and understand. Today's buyer psychology. Industry voices like Florida Realtors. President Tim Weishire remind owners that motivated sellers who adapt are still closing deals. In other words, the market hasn't vanished. It's just changed shape. Looking forward, analysts see a few clear trends shaping Florida's market through 2030. The state is likely to remain a buyer's market through the middle of 2026 as interest rates stay relatively high. By late 2026 or early 2027, if rates ease back toward the low 6% range, competition will heat up again. The ultra-luxury segment will keep thriving, fueled by international demand and global capital. Meanwhile, affordable condos and townhomes will stay in focus, especially as Florida's Live Local Act pushes for more attainable housing and encourages developers to include affordable units in new projects. International buyers will continue to play an outsized role. Over the past year and a half, nearly half of all new construction and pre-construction condo sales in South Florida involved overseas investors. Many of them pay in cash, insulating the market from domestic rate swings. Equity trends tell an even bigger story. A Miami homeowner who bought in 2009 and sold in 2024 gained over $500,000 in value, nearly double the national average. That level of wealth generation is why Florida real estate remains such a powerful tool for long-term investors. Another factor quietly shaping the next decade is population growth. Florida continues to attract more than 900 new residents per day, many coming from high-cost states like New York, New Jersey, and California. That steady inflow underpins housing demand, even when the market cools. Every new resident represents a rental, a mortgage, or a future purchase. Infrastructure investment is also crucial. Projects to improve highways, expand airports, and upgrade coastal defenses are transforming accessibility and resilience. Taki. Regions like Tampa Bay and the Treasure Coast, these improvements are already drawing business relocations and new construction. And beyond the economics, there's the human factor. Florida's appeal is emotional as much as financial. People come for warmth, community, and opportunity. They stay because the lifestyle delivers what many other states can't, a mix of affordability, recreation, and sunshine. That emotional pull creates stability even during downturns. Every cycle tells the same story. Florida rises fast, then steadies, then rises again. The dips create entry points. The rebounds create wealth. Investors who understand that rhythm, who can look beyond the next quarter and focus on the next 5 years, are the ones who win. So where are the best places to focus right now? For long-term luxury appreciation, Miami, Palm Beach, and Naples remain the anchors. For strong growth at accessible prices, Hollywood, Pompano Beach, New Smyrna Beach, Port St. Joe, and the Space Coast lead the pack. And for those who believe in buying when others are cautious, the cooling corridors of Punta Gorda, Cape Coral, and North Port may soon look like bargains. The next 5 years will reward discipline, research, and strategy. Not speculation, but smart positioning. Because Florida's real estate market isn't disappearing, it's evolving. The state is moving toward equilibrium, and from equilibrium comes opportunity. Every time Florida resets, it sets the stage for another climb. Investors who recognize that pattern early don't just ride the wave, they define it. The market rises, it cools, it steadies, and then it rises again. And if you can spot that rhythm before everyone else does, you won't just follow Florida's next boom, you'll lead it.